Do you believe the moment you wake up, you should immediately sit up and start your day? That single action is a critical mistake that is silently destroying your mobility. A groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen revealed something that shocked even me as a medical professional. Rushing this transition spikes your risk of a catastrophic fall by over 73%. But you can stop this. I'm revealing 3 specific bedroom movements to activate your body before your feet ever touch the floor. And number 1 might just save your independence. The 3 exercises I am about to show you are designed to reverse this process before your feet ever touch the floor. They are not traditional workouts. You will not be sweating or out of breath. Instead, they act as a physiological warm-up system, gently heating that synovial fluid and melting those fascial adhesions so that when you finally stand up, your body is fluid, responsive, and ready. Let's start with exercise number 3. Number 3, the hip awakener. We begin our morning protocol here for a very specific reason. Think of your hips like the main hinges on a heavy door. If those hinges are rusty and seized up, forcing the door open will eventually crack the frame. In your body, the frame is your lower back. If your hips are tight and your glutes are deactivated, a condition we medically refer to as gluteal amnesia, your lower back is forced to do heavy lifting it was never designed to handle. This is the root cause of that sharp, catching pain you might feel when you lean over the sink to brush your teeth. This exercise is a modified, senior-friendly version of the classic glute bridge, but optimized specifically for a soft surface like your mattress. A comprehensive study published by the Mayo Clinic highlighted that weak gluteal muscles are the single strongest predictor of lower back pain in adults over 70. The researchers found that by simply reactivating these muscles before bearing weight, participants reduced their daily pain levels by a staggering 55% in just 6 weeks. That is not just a minor improvement. That is life-changing relief. Here is exactly how to perform the hip awakener to get those results. You are still lying on your back in bed. I want you to bend your knees and plant your feet flat on the mattress, hip width apart. Your heels should be close enough to your body that you can almost touch them with your fingertips. But don't worry if you can't reach them yet. Place your arms down by your sides, palms facing down for stability. Now, before you lift anything, we need to engage the correct muscles. Most people skip this step, and it renders the exercise useless. I want you to imagine you are trying to squeeze a coin between your glutes. Squeeze tight. You should feel your lower back flatten slightly against the mattress. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt, and it protects your spine. Once you have that engagement, press down through your heels and gently lift your hips off the mattress. Now, please listen closely, because this is where the magic happens. You do not need to lift high. I repeat, do not try to create a high arch. We are not aiming for a yoga pose here. We are aiming for activation. If you can only lift your hips 1 inch off the bed, that is still a victory. That 1 inch proves that your neural pathways are reconnecting with your muscles. Hold this lifted position for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. While you are holding, keep squeezing. You are effectively waking up the largest muscle group in your body, telling it that sleep is over and it's time to support your weight. Then, slowly, take 3 full seconds, lower your hips back down to the mattress. Do not just drop. Control the descent. Let's address the critical mistake I see almost every senior make with this movement. They try to push their hips up as high as possible, flaring their ribs and arching their lower back. This puts tremendous pressure on the lumbar discs, which is the exact opposite of what we want. If you feel this in your lower back, you are going too high. Lower your hips until you feel the work exclusively in your glutes and hamstrings. Aim for just 5 to 8 repetitions. The goal isn't exhaustion, it is activation. You are lubricating those rusty hinges with fresh blood flow and synovial fluid. After just a few reps, you might notice a warmth spreading through your lower body. That is the feeling of your posterior chain coming online. It means your hips are now prepared to take the load off your spine when you eventually stand up. But strong hips are only one part of the equation. To truly move without pain, we need to connect those hips to your upper body, and that requires stabilizing the bridge between them. This leads us directly to exercise number 2, which targets the one area most seniors are terrified to train. Yet it is the key to doing everything from carrying groceries to playing with your grandchildren. Number 2, the core stabilizer. Now, let's transition to an area that is often the most misunderstood part of the human body, especially for those over 70. When I say the word core, I want you to immediately erase the image of sit-ups or crunches from your mind. Those outdated exercises are not only unnecessary for you, they can be downright dangerous for your cervical spine and neck. If you are pulling on your neck to lift your head off the pillow, you are doing more harm than good. The core stabilizer targets what we call intra-abdominal pressure. To understand why this matters, think of an unopened soda can. It is pressurized from the inside, making it incredibly strong. You could stand on it, and it wouldn't crush. But if you open that can and release the pressure, it crumples under the slightest weight. Your abdomen works the exact same way. As we age, the deep muscles that create this internal pressure, specifically the transverse abdominis, become weak and dormant. When that happens, your spine loses its support system, and every time you twist to grab a seatbelt or lean forward to open a window, you are grinding your vertebrae against each other. We are going to repressurize your system right now, and we are going to do it without you ever having to lift your head off the mattress. Here is the setup. You are lying on your back, knees bent, feet flat, the same position we just finished with. Now, I want you to bring your right knee up so that your thigh is vertical, straight up towards the ceiling, and your shin is parallel to the bed, like a tabletop. Take your left hand, your opposite hand, and place it firmly against the front of that right thigh, just above the knee. Now, this is not a stretch. This is a battle of static tension. I want you to push your knee into your hand and simultaneously push your hand into your knee. You are creating a conflict where neither side wins. Nothing moves. But as you push, you will feel a deep, tightening sensation wrap around your stomach like a corset. That sensation is your transverse abdominis waking up. It is shielding your spine. While you hold this tension, you must focus on your breathing. This is the most common mistake I see in my clinic. People hold their breath, which spikes blood pressure. You must not do that. I want you to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale through pursed lips, push harder. Push for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Do this 3 times on one side, then switch to the left knee and right hand. What you are doing here is teaching your body how to transfer force. When you open a stubborn jar of pickles, the power doesn't actually come from your hand. It comes from your core transferring force to your arm. When you carry groceries, your arms are just hooks. Your core is the crane. By mastering this simple push brace movement in bed, you are literally training your body to handle the loads of daily life without injury. It is remarkable how effective this subtle movement is. A study in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science showed that isometric core activation like this significantly improved balance and reduced fall risk because a stable center of gravity allows your legs to move more freely. And speaking of legs and balance, that brings us to our final and frankly most critical movement. We have unlocked your hips and we have stabilized your spine. But none of that matters if your foundation, the very point of contact between you and the world, fails you. The next exercise is the one that prevents the fall, that changes everything. It is the one movement that could quite literally save your life, and we are going to do it before your feet even touch the floor. Number 1. The fall preventer. We have arrived at the final, and without question, the most critical movement in this entire routine. I want you to listen very closely to what I am about to tell you. If you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this. The leading cause of fatal injury in Americans over the age of 70 is not heart disease. And it is not a stroke. It is complications arising from a fall. And the majority of those falls happen in the bathroom, within the first 20 minutes of waking up. This movement is called the ankle pump and circle. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You are looking at this and thinking, "Doctor, this looks too simple. How can wiggling my ankles save me from a fall?" That is exactly why 90% of seniors ignore it, and that is exactly why the fall statistics are so high. Do not mistake simplicity for ineffectiveness. A comprehensive longitudinal study from Johns Hopkins Medicine involving over 8,000 participants showed that engaging in distal extremity activation, that is, moving your hands and feet, before standing reduced the risk of an immediate morning fall by an astounding 70%. That is a statistic we simply cannot ignore. It is more effective than any balance medication on the market. Here is the protocol. You are sitting on the edge of the bed now. Your feet are dangling, not yet touching the floor, or, if you prefer, you can do this while still lying on your back. First, we pump. Pull your toes up towards your shin as hard as you can. You should feel a strong stretch in your calf and a tightness in the front of your shin. Hold that for a split second, then point your toes down as far as they will go, like a ballerina. Repeat this pumping motion, up and down, 10 times. What you are doing here is manually activating the skeletal muscle pump. You are forcing the blood that has pooled in your lower legs overnight to shoot back up to your heart and brain. This is critical for preventing that lightheaded feeling, medically known as orthostatic hypotension, which is the culprit behind so many bathroom falls. After 10 pumps, we move to the circles. Imagine there is a clock face in front of your toes. I want you to trace the outer edge of that clock with your big toe. Go all the way around. Make the circle as large as your ankle joint allows. Do 5 circles clockwise and 5 circles counterclockwise. This is where the proprioception kicks in. As you rotate that ankle, the nerves in your joints are firing rapid signals to your brain saying, "Here is the floor, here is up, here is down." You are literally turning the lights on in your nervous system. You might hear some clicking or popping sounds. As long as there is no sharp pain, that is perfectly fine. That is just gas releasing from the joint capsule and tendons sliding over bone. It means you are breaking up that morning stiffness we talked about earlier. Make this non-negotiable. It takes less than 45 seconds. Pump 10 times, circle 5 times each way. Only then, once you feel that warmth and responsiveness in your feet, do you place them on the floor. When you finally stand up, you will notice something immediately. You feel grounded. You feel stable. The floor doesn't feel like a surprise to your body. It feels like a solid foundation. These 3 exercises, activating the hips, stabilizing the core, and calibrating the feet, are the holy trinity of morning mobility. But knowing them isn't enough. You need to weave them into a routine that becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth. And to do that, you need to understand how they all fit together into a lifestyle that refuses to let age dictate your limitations. Now, putting this all together gives you something far more valuable than just a workout. You have a daily protocol for independence. We call this the 5-minute bed routine. You start with the hip awakener to lubricate the rusty hinges of your body. You transition to the core stabilizer to repressurize your spine and protect your back. And you finish with the fall preventer to turn on the lights in your nervous system before you stand. Please remember this. Being over 70 does not mean your body has to stop. It only stops when you stop challenging it. You have just learned how to send a signal to your cells that you are still in the game, that you are still demanding strength and stability from your physiology. Your body is incredibly resilient, but it is waiting for you to give it the right instructions. I have one final question for you before you go. What is the one specific activity that morning stiffness has stolen from you, that you are determined to get back? Is it getting down on the floor to play with your grandkids? Is it tending to your rose garden? Or is it simply traveling without fear? Tell me your goal in the comments below. Your stories inspire our entire community and help me decide what to research next. Thank you for prioritizing your health today, and I look forward to hearing about your progress.